What if the silence you're enduring isn't just yours? What if she's doing no contact too? Suddenly, the question isn't just, how long can I hold out? But what if she's holding out too? This is the kind of mental tug-of-war that leaves us questioning everything. Is she missing you, or is she moving on? Is this a test of patience, or the end of the connection? In today's video, we're diving deep into this situation, breaking down the fears, the assumptions, and the strategies. But we're not approaching this with desperation or guesswork. Instead, we'll turn to the timeless principles of Stoicism. Because this isn't just about her or you. It's about mastering your own emotions and responding with clarity and strength. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll not only understand what to do when she's also doing no contact, but you'll also learn how to transform this uncertain moment into a powerful opportunity for growth. Let's get started. Number 1, you're not responsible for her silence. She might be processing her emotions, dealing with her own challenges, or simply exploring what life feels like without constant communication. And while these possibilities might race through your mind, none of it is your responsibility. It's not your job to decode her actions, just like it's not her job to explain every move to you. The ancient Stoics believed in focusing only on what is within your control, a principle called the dichotomy of control. Your control is limited to your thoughts, your actions, and your emotional responses. Everything else, her silence, her actions, her reasons, is firmly in the category of things you cannot control. Trying to control or overanalyze her silence is like trying to stop the wind from blowing or predicting when it will rain. It's not just futile, it drains your energy. Imagine this. You're standing outside and it starts raining. You have two choices. You can stand there shouting at the clouds, demanding they stop. Or you can accept the rain for what it is, pull out an umbrella, and keep moving. The rain doesn't stop because of your anger, but your decision to adapt keeps you in control of your experience. In this situation, her silence is the rain. You can sit around, letting it frustrate you, or you can focus on the one thing you control, your response. What are you doing during this no-contact phase? Are you letting it define your worth? Or are you using this time to build yourself into the best version of you? Let's say you've taken up fitness or started learning a new skill. You pour yourself into it, not to distract yourself from her silence, but to create something meaningful for your own growth. Over time, this focus not only improves you, but it builds resilience. When she notices you've leveled up, physically, emotionally, or mentally, she'll see that her silence didn't break you. In fact, it empowered you. And let's say she doesn't notice. Let's say she moves on or keeps the no contact going indefinitely. Even then, you've still won. Why? Because you didn't waste this time drowning in uncertainty. You used it to elevate yourself, to build a life that aligns with your values, and to strengthen your own peace of mind. Remember, the choice is always yours. You can let her silence be a burden, or you can see it as an opportunity. You're not responsible for her actions, but you are responsible for how you carry yourself during this time. Be the person who grows in silence, who lets their strength speak louder than their words. That's what the Stoics would do, and it's what you can do, too. Number 2, it's not a game of who wins. Let's get this straight. No contact isn't a game. It's not about outlasting someone or waiting to see who blinks first. There's no scoreboard, no prize for the person who holds out the longest. If you treat it like a contest, you've already lost. Not because you broke first, but because you've handed over your emotional control to someone else. Now, let's consider this. What if she's also doing no contact? Does that change your approach? Here's the truth. It shouldn't. If her silence causes you to spiral into overthinking, if you find yourself anxiously checking her social media or wondering what her next move will be, then you've missed the point entirely. The point of no contact is not to play a game of chess where you're strategizing your next move based on hers. It's to reclaim your focus, rebuild your self-worth, and let go of the need for external validation. The Stoics teach us not to compare ourselves to others. It only breeds anxiety and insecurity. This applies perfectly here. Whether she's following her own version of no contact or not, it's irrelevant to your journey. What matters is how you use this time to strengthen your inner resolve. If her silence triggers insecurity or doubt in you, use it as an opportunity to reflect on why that is. Are you truly at peace with yourself, or are you still tethered to the need for her response to validate your worth? Consider a scenario. You're waiting for a message that never comes, and instead of falling into despair, you choose to redirect your energy. You spend that time reconnecting with friends, diving into hobbies you love, hitting the gym, or starting that side project you've always talked about. Over time, you realize something profound. You're not waiting for her anymore. You're building a life that doesn't revolve around whether or not she reaches out. That's not losing. That's winning in a way that truly matters. The key here is to let go of the need to compare paths. Maybe she's also doing no contact, and maybe she's using that time to reflect and grow just like you are. But her journey is hers. It's not your business to figure out what's going on in her head. Your silence isn't about proving something to her. It's about proving to yourself that you are strong enough to handle this. Let me leave you with this thought. When you stop keeping score and start focusing on your own growth, you'll discover something remarkable. Whether or not she ever reaches out won't matter as much anymore. The growth you achieve during this period will stay with you far longer than the memory of who texted who first. So, take a breath, shift your focus inward, and live your life. Not for her, not for the scoreboard, but for you. That's where your real power lies. What about you? How do you view no contact now? Does this perspective shift how you approach it, or resonate with how you're already handling it? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Leave a comment below and share your take. Or, if this really struck a chord, simply type, "I'm focusing on me." Your insights could inspire someone else on their journey. Number 3. Stop letting it get to you. It's natural to feel overwhelmed during a period of no contact. Questions like, is she thinking about me? Does she miss me? Will she reach out? Can echo endlessly in your mind, creating an emotional storm that feels almost impossible to escape. But here's a truth that you need to hear. These thoughts only hold as much power as you give them. They are like shadows, intimidating at first glance, but harmless when faced with the light of reason. This is where the Stoic concept of apatheia can transform your perspective. Apatheia isn't about shutting off your emotions or pretending you don't care. It's about learning to control how external events influence your internal state. It's the art of finding calm and clarity, even in the face of uncertainty. Imagine you're holding a glass of water. At first, it's light and easy to carry, but the longer you hold on to it, the heavier it feels. The weight doesn't change. The only difference is how long you've been gripping it. Your anxious thoughts about her are just like that glass of water. The more you cling to them, the more they weigh you down. But the moment you decide to set that glass down, you'll feel relief and freedom. Now, think about her silence. It's easy to attach meaning to it. Maybe she's moved on, or she doesn't care about me. But here's the truth. Her silence doesn't have to mean anything unless you let it. She may or may not be thinking about you. But why let something you can't control dictate your emotions? Instead of giving in to those draining thoughts, shift your focus to what truly matters: your growth, your goals, and your passions. Use this time to work on becoming the best version of yourself. Go to the gym and strengthen your body. Learn a new skill that challenges your mind. Reconnect with the things that bring you joy and purpose. Each step you take towards self-improvement pulls you further away from the emotional chaos and closer to the calm, confident person you want to be. Here's a practical exercise. The next time a thought about her pops into your head, don't try to fight it. Acknowledge it, but don't engage with it. Instead, redirect that energy into something productive. Feeling frustrated that she hasn't reached out? Go for a run, lift weights, or meditate. Wondering if she's thinking about you? Write down 3 things you've done today to improve your own life. These small shifts in focus can have a profound effect on your mindset. Think about this. The time and energy you spend wondering about her could instead be invested in building something extraordinary in your own life. Imagine the version of yourself you could become if you channeled all that mental energy into improving yourself. A stronger, more confident you isn't just someone who moves on easily. It's someone who becomes impossible to ignore. And here's the unexpected twist. When you stop obsessing and start thriving, people notice. That calm, self-assured energy radiates outward. It's often when you let go and focus inward that the world starts paying attention. And if she does think of you again, she'll be reminded of a person who's growing, thriving, and unshaken. A person she may find herself missing after all. So, take a deep breath. Let go of what you can't control and invest in the one thing that truly matters: you. Number 4. Your silence is saying more than words. Your silence is saying more than words. So is hers. In a situation where both of you are practicing no contact, it's easy to spiral into overthinking. Is she forgetting about me? Does this mean she doesn't care? But here's where the true power of silence and self-control comes in. Imagine this. You're both in a metaphorical standoff, each hoping the other will break first. But instead of seeing this as a game of ego or manipulation, view it through a Stoic lens. The Stoics taught that we cannot control others, only ourselves. If she's choosing silence, let her. It's not your job to interpret her actions, but to remain steadfast in your own principles. By staying silent, you're reinforcing your value. You're showing that you respect yourself enough to not chase someone who isn't ready to come to you. That's not arrogance, that's self-respect. Silence, in this context, becomes a language of confidence. It says, I care about you, but I care about myself just as much. Let's say you've both gone quiet after an argument or a misunderstanding. Maybe she's waiting for you to apologize or reach out first. Maybe she's unsure of her own feelings and needs space to sort them out. Instead of reacting impulsively, you take a moment to reflect. You could write a long message trying to explain yourself or smooth things over. But ask yourself, will that truly add value to the situation? Or will it dilute your message? Instead, you choose patience and clarity. Your silence becomes a way of communicating that you're not afraid of time or distance. It shows her you're willing to give her the room she needs, while also showing yourself the same courtesy. Epictetus famously said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." If she's also doing no contact, your reaction is what defines your character. Will you let anxiety drive you to break your silence out of fear? Or will you remain calm and composed, knowing that your value isn't diminished by her actions? Your silence, then, isn't a tactic to win her back. It's a declaration of your self-worth. If she recognizes that and values you, she'll respond in her own time. If not, her silence has given you the clarity to move forward without regret. Ultimately, silence isn't about winning or losing. It's about maintaining your peace and demonstrating your strength. Whether or not she's doing no contact doesn't change your path. It's your calm, measured response that will set the tone for whatever happens next. What are your thoughts on this approach to silence and self-respect? Have you experienced a moment where staying silent felt like the strongest move? I'd love to hear your insights. Leave a comment below and share your perspective. Or, if this resonates with you, affirm your commitment to self-respect by typing, "I choose peace and self-worth over impulsive reactions." Your voice matters, and I can't wait to read what you think. Number 5. Every day is a win for you. Every single day you commit to no contact is a victory, one that deserves your acknowledgement. This isn't about beating her or winning some imaginary competition. It's about showing up for yourself and choosing to honor your own growth. Take a moment to reflect on your day. Did you resist the urge to check her social media or send that impulsive message? That's a win. Did you focus on your fitness, dive into work, or spend quality time with people who uplift you? Another win. These seemingly small actions may feel insignificant, but they're like drops of water steadily filling a jar. Over time, they add up to a reservoir of resilience, self-respect, and inner peace. In Stoic philosophy, nightly reflection is a powerful practice. At the end of each day, ask yourself, what did I do well today? Where did I struggle? How can I improve tomorrow? For example, if today you found yourself tempted to break no contact, pause and examine the feeling. Ask, why do I feel this way? Was it loneliness, boredom, or perhaps the fear of being forgotten? Recognizing these emotions without acting on them is a win in itself. It's a sign that you're learning to master your impulses, which Marcus Aurelius calls the art of living. Remember, growth isn't always dramatic. It's not about grand gestures or sudden transformations. It's in the steady progress of showing up for yourself daily. Each time you choose to prioritize your goals, your mental health, and your well-being, you're shaping a stronger, more grounded version of yourself. So celebrate every step, no matter how small. Did you read a new book, learn something new, or simply take care of your body and mind? These are victories. In the words of Epictetus, first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. Every day you stay consistent. You're not just surviving, you're thriving. And in time, the person you're becoming will be grateful you chose this path. You are not waiting for anyone to validate you. You are building a life so solid and fulfilling that your own presence becomes enough. That's the ultimate win. Number 6, the changes she can't see. Let's talk about the silent transformation happening within you. While both of you are in this no-contact phase, there's a chance she's also reflecting, healing, or even moving forward. But here's the key. What she does or doesn't do shouldn't matter to your growth. What's truly important is the evolution you're undergoing, quietly, steadily, and with purpose. Think about this. Maybe you've started hitting the gym, investing in your health. Perhaps you've picked up a new skill, read books that challenge your perspective, or found clarity in journaling your thoughts. Maybe you've even embraced moments of solitude to heal wounds you didn't realize you were carrying. These shifts, these changes, they're invisible to her right now, but they're also the most profound. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." This is your opportunity to embody that wisdom. While she might not see your late-night study sessions, your quiet discipline, or the emotional storms you've weathered, you're building a fortress within yourself. Imagine this. You've been learning to play the piano in the evenings. No one knows, not her, not your friends. But the melody you're slowly perfecting is a symbol of your discipline. Or maybe you've been pushing yourself to run an extra mile every week, not for applause, but for the personal victory it brings. These silent achievements might seem small now, but they're part of a bigger transformation, a stronger, wiser, more grounded version of you. And if she's also doing no contact, focusing on her growth, let her. In fact, respect it. You're both walking separate paths, but your priority should remain clear, becoming better for yourself, not for her recognition. When you focus on your inner growth, you stop worrying about whether she notices. You realize that your efforts, whether physical, mental, or emotional, are not about impressing someone else. They're about honoring yourself. And one day, whether it's her or someone else, the world will see the unshakable strength you've built. In the end, no contact isn't a waiting game. It's a proving ground. It's where you refine yourself, not for her approval, but for your own peace. Keep growing, keep evolving. She may never see it, but that's okay, because you will, and that's what counts. If you've made it this far, take a moment to reflect on your own journey. Have you experienced a silent transformation like the ones we've discussed? Maybe you've started a new habit, faced your emotions head-on, or found strength in unexpected places. Whatever your story, I'd love to hear about it. Share your experiences in the comments, whether it's a small victory or a major breakthrough. Or, if you're unsure what to say, you can simply type, "I'm growing quietly." Your growth deserves to be acknowledged, even in the smallest of ways. Number 7. Freedom comes from letting go. The moment you let go of needing her validation is the moment you truly become free. But what happens when she's also doing no contact? The silence feels heavy, doesn't it? Like an unspoken challenge, a game of emotional endurance where neither side wants to break first. Yet, this isn't a game you need to play. In fact, this is your opportunity to rise above it, to let go of the need for control, and to focus on the one thing you can master: yourself. Let's start with a truth from Stoicism. Our suffering comes from our attachment to things outside our control. This includes her actions, her silence, and her choices. If she's also doing no contact, you might feel like you're in a battle you didn't sign up for. But here's the catch. You don't have to fight. You don't have to win her back through proving anything. Instead, this is the moment to prove something to yourself. Imagine this scenario. You wake up each day, your mind immediately wondering if she's thought of you. You check your phone, scrolling for a message, a missed call, or even a vague post on social media that might hint at her feelings. And when there's nothing, that emptiness fills you with doubt. Is she over you? Is she thinking about someone else? Is she happier without you? These thoughts consume you, but pause for a moment and ask yourself, does any of this truly help you? Does worrying about her actions or her silence add any value to your life? Now let's flip the perspective. Imagine you're the one choosing silence, not out of manipulation or strategy, but out of respect for yourself. You recognize that her journey, just like yours, is her own. Maybe she's using this time to reflect, to heal, or to process. Maybe her silence is about her, not you. And that's perfectly okay. Let me share an example. There's a man, let's call him Daniel, who went through a breakup. His instinct was to reach out, to apologize for things he didn't even do wrong, just to hear her voice. But instead, he chose a different path. He embraced the silence, not as a strategy, but as a period of reflection. He started focusing on his health, hitting the gym consistently. He reignited his love for photography, something he'd neglected during the relationship. Months later, when he ran into her by chance, she barely recognized him, not just because of his physical transformation, but because of the confidence and peace he exuded. Did she come back? Yes, but by then, Daniel had already learned that his happiness didn't hinge on her return. He had become someone he admired, with or without her. If she's also doing no contact, embrace it. Let her silence be her journey, and let yours be about growth. The Stoics remind us that true freedom comes from within. It's not about winning her back or proving anything. It's about proving to yourself that you're enough. When you focus on your own development, you become unshakable. If she returns, it will be because of who you've become, not because you chased her. And if she doesn't, you'll still be better off because of the person you chose to become. So, don't fear her silence. Use it. Transform it. And remember, you're not competing with her. You're building yourself. That's where true power lies. Number 8. What if she never reaches out? It's the question that keeps circling in your mind. What if she never reaches out? It's an uncomfortable thought, one that can fill you with doubt and unease. But here's the truth. You don't have to be paralyzed by it. The answer to these fears lies in shifting your focus. Whether she reaches out or not, you'll still be okay. In fact, you'll be stronger, wiser, and more grounded in yourself. When we think about someone else's actions, like whether she's also not reaching out, it's easy to get caught up in a spiral of what ifs. What if she's moved on? What if she's waiting for me to break first? What if this silence is forever? These thoughts can be overwhelming, but they're also distractions from what truly matters: your growth, your peace, and your future. The Stoics had a practice called premeditatio malorum, which translates to the premeditation of evils. They would visualize the worst-case scenario, not to dwell on it, but to prepare for it and take away its power. So let's apply this here. Imagine, just for a moment, that she never reaches out. She's committed to her own silence, and this chapter of your relationship quietly closes. How does that make you feel? It might be painful at first, but once you sit with it, you'll realize something profound. Even this doesn't define you. By facing the possibility that she might never reach out, you begin to loosen its grip on your emotions. You've already done the hardest part, letting go. You've taken that first step toward reclaiming your independence and peace. If she doesn't reach out, it's not the end of your story. In fact, it's the beginning of something far greater. A chapter where you rediscover yourself, your values, and your strength. Picture this. You're climbing a mountain. Halfway up, the person you were climbing with decides to stop, to stay where they are, or to even turn back. You have two choices. You can wait for them, hoping they'll join you again, or you can continue the climb. Sure, climbing alone might feel intimidating at first, but every step forward strengthens you. And when you reach the top, you'll realize the journey was always about your growth, not about who was walking beside you. Now, let's consider the possibility that she's also sticking to no contact. Maybe she's dealing with her own emotions, trying to process her thoughts, or testing to see if you'll break first. It's easy to get caught up in trying to interpret her silence. But here's the Stoic truth. Her actions are outside your control. What she does or doesn't do doesn't define your worth or your path. Your focus should remain on what you can control: your mindset, your choices, and your progress. Whether she's silent because she's unsure, indifferent, or playing her own version of the waiting game, your response should remain steady. You're not here to chase. You're here to live a life that aligns with your values, one step at a time. Chasing someone who's not actively choosing you only pulls you further away from the person you're meant to become. Here's the reality. If she never reaches out, it's not a reflection of your value. It simply means her role in your story has ended. And while that may sting, it's also liberating. It means space has been created for something new, for a version of yourself that is stronger, more resilient, and more focused on what truly matters. You've survived the hardest part, which is letting go. Now, you get to move forward. Let her silence be an opportunity for growth rather than despair. Focus on your own path, your own journey, and your own peace of mind. Whether she chooses to come back or not, you'll be fine. No, scratch that. You'll be more than fine. You'll be unstoppable. This is your time to thrive. What about you? How have you handled moments of silence in your own life? Have you ever faced the fear of someone not reaching out and come out stronger on the other side? Share your story in the comments. I'd love to hear how you've navigated these challenges. Or, if you're not sure what to say, just type this: "Her silence is my strength." Let's remind ourselves and each other that even in the quiet, we are growing, learning, and becoming the best versions of ourselves. Your journey matters, and your reflections might just inspire someone else to keep climbing. Number 9. This is about you, not her. Let me remind you, no contact isn't about her. It's about you. It's not a trick to win her back or make her miss you. It's not a competition to see who can stay silent the longest. This period is a gift you give yourself, a chance to heal, to gain clarity, and to rediscover your worth. If she's also doing no contact, it changes nothing about your purpose. Why? Because your journey is yours alone. The Stoics taught us to focus only on what we can control: our actions, thoughts, and responses. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Whether or not she's mirroring your silence is outside your control. What you can control is how you use this time to grow. Instead of wondering, "Is she thinking about me?" ask yourself a better question. Am I becoming someone I respect? Someone who lives in alignment with their values? Imagine this. You've spent weeks in no contact, and suddenly you hear from a mutual friend that she's also been keeping her distance. Maybe you start overanalyzing. Does this mean she's moved on? Is she trying to punish me? But pause and reflect. Her actions are hers, shaped by her own emotions and motivations. They do not define you. Instead of spiraling, channel your energy into your growth. For example, you could take up a new skill, dive into your passions, or reconnect with people who add value to your life. Let's say you start journaling daily, a practice the Stoics highly valued. In your journal, you focus on your progress, not her absence. You write about the traits you're building: patience, resilience, and confidence. These become the foundation of the person you're becoming. The real goal of no contact is not to make her miss you or regret her decisions. It's to make you proud of yourself, whether she's part of your life or not. If she's also doing no contact, take it as a sign that you both might need this space to figure out your own paths. Maybe those paths will cross again. Maybe they won't. But what matters is this: you're using this time to become someone you admire. The Stoic insight here is simple but powerful. To be calm is the highest achievement of the self. Calm doesn't come from waiting for her text or analyzing her silence. It comes from building a life so fulfilling that external events, even her actions, cannot shake your inner peace. So, focus on what you can control. Keep your energy on your growth. Whether she's also doing no contact or not, this time is about you. Make it count. Number 10, learn to love the uncertainty. Let's explore a scenario many of you have wondered about. What if she's also doing no contact? The thought can feel like a puzzle you can't solve. Is she waiting for you to make a move? Is she moving on? Is this the beginning of the end, or just a necessary chapter in your shared story? These unanswered questions can create an emotional whirlwind. But instead of spiraling, consider this. What if the uncertainty isn't your enemy, but your greatest teacher? Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." You can't control what she's doing or thinking. You can't control whether she's also holding back communication. But you can control how you respond to the situation. This is the essence of Stoicism, focusing only on what's within your power and releasing the rest. The silence, whether it's yours, hers, or mutual, isn't a void. It's a canvas. And like any great artist, you have the opportunity to create something meaningful on that blank space. Use this time not to obsess over her intentions, but to cultivate your patience, resilience, and clarity. Imagine no contact as a silent agreement, a mutual pause button. She might be using this time to reflect, to heal, or to grow, just as you should be. Picture her reading, journaling, reconnecting with her passions, or even facing her own fears about the relationship. While you're on your path of self-improvement, she might be on hers too. And isn't that the kind of partnership you want? Two individuals who know their worth and aren't afraid to give each other the space to rediscover it. Let's say you're both runners in a relay race. Right now, you're not passing the baton back and forth. Instead, you're both training separately to improve your speed and endurance. The break in contact isn't a sign that the race is over. It's preparation for when you meet on the track again, stronger and more focused. Ask yourself, what can I do today to become a better version of myself? Maybe it's picking up a book that's been sitting on your shelf. Maybe it's hitting the gym to channel your restlessness into strength. Or maybe it's simply sitting in quiet reflection and asking, what do I truly want? Not just from her, but from myself and my life. When you shift your focus inward, the silence loses its sting. It becomes a space for transformation, not fear. You stop worrying about what she might be doing and start building yourself into someone you're proud of, someone she'd be proud to know. Remember, silence isn't necessarily a rejection. It's a moment of stillness. Like the calm before the storm or the pause before the crescendo in a symphony, it's a necessary part of the journey. And just as a caterpillar emerges from its cocoon as a butterfly, you'll emerge from this silence with new strength and perspective. If she's also doing no contact, see it as a gift, a sign that she's taking her own time to process and grow. When you both re-enter each other's lives, whether that's through a message, a chance encounter, or even the realization that the paths you're on no longer align, you'll know that you both gave this time the respect it deserved. So, don't fear the silence. Embrace it. Love the uncertainty. Trust that this is where the magic happens. Whether you reunite or move on separately, this period is shaping you into someone stronger, wiser, and more capable of love. When the time is right, you'll see that this journey, no matter where it leads, was worth it. As we come to the end of this video, let's take a moment to reflect on what we've explored together. The silence you're experiencing, whether it's her silence, your silence, or both, is more than just a pause in communication. It's a powerful moment of transformation. It's not about waiting, worrying, or wondering what the other person is thinking. Instead, it's about choosing to focus inward, to embrace growth, and to build yourself into someone stronger, wiser, and more resilient. The Stoics teach us to focus on what we can control, and this situation is a perfect example of why that wisdom matters. You can't control her actions, her silence, or even her thoughts, but you can control your own. You can decide how you respond, how you use this time, and what kind of person you want to become in the process. Every day you resist the urge to reach out in desperation. Every time you redirect your energy towards self-improvement, you're taking back your power. That's not just surviving, that's thriving. Think about what this silence has already taught you. Maybe it's shown you how much emotional energy you were investing in someone else, or maybe it's helped you see the areas in your own life that needed attention. This isn't just a time to wait for a text or hope for a reconciliation. It's a time to rediscover yourself. When you let go of needing her validation, you free yourself to live authentically. You start to realize that your growth, your progress, and your happiness are not contingent on anyone else. And here's the deeper truth. Silence is not the enemy. It's a gift, a rare opportunity to sit with your thoughts, face your fears, and work on the things that truly matter. It's in this space that you can find clarity about yourself, about what you want, and about what kind of relationship you deserve. By embracing this silence, you're not just becoming someone she might miss, you're becoming someone you can respect and admire. Now, let me leave you with this challenge. How are you going to use this time? Will you let the silence define you, or will you define yourself through how you respond? Will you spend this time scrolling through her social media, or will you pour it into your own growth? Will you let the uncertainty consume you, or will you transform it into a period of strength and self-discovery? No matter where this journey leads, whether she reaches out or you find peace in moving forward, you'll come out stronger if you focus on your growth. This isn't about winning her back or proving anything to her. It's about proving to yourself that you are enough. Silence is where true growth happens. It's where you learn to rely on yourself, where you discover your worth, and where you start to build the life you've always wanted. Before we go, I'd love to hear your thoughts. What part of today's video resonated most with you? How do you plan to use this time of silence to grow? Share your reflections in the comments below. I'll be reading and responding because I truly want to hear your perspective. Let's keep this conversation going. If this video added value to your life, don't forget to like subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future content. Your support means everything, and it helps us build a community of people committed to self-improvement and growth. Also, be sure to check out the recommended videos on your screen. They dive even deeper into the strategies and Stoic principles we've talked about today. Thank you for watching, for investing in yourself, and for choosing to be part of this journey. Remember, your silence is powerful, not as a tactic, but as a testament to your strength. Keep growing, keep thriving, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.